So there are a lot of reasons why you would choose to procrastinate. Maybe you are anxious or scared, or you just don't care about something but you have to do it. The explanation that really messes with me is that we procrastinate because we lack respect for ourselves. This is especially true or especially applicable when you're the kind of person who would get other people's tasks done on time, but when it comes to your own things where you're only accountable to yourself, you push and push the deadlines back, maybe even completely giving up on that specific project. And I guess there's some truth to it because they say that to build your self-confidence and your self-respect, one way to do it is do the things that you said you're going to do. This means don't procrastinate, right? Okay, great, checks out. But then it becomes kind of like the chicken and the egg, right? If I procrastinate because I lack self-respect, and then to build self-respect, I have to not procrastinate and get things done, well, what? Like, how am I gonna get out of it? And that was something that was on my mind for a long time, and it was frustrating because I want to do better when it comes to self-respect as well. I want to have better self-esteem and self-respect, so that aside from just doing things and achieving goals, I want to have better relationships, better boundaries, and that needs self-respect. So it just seemed like this vicious cycle that you're not gonna get out of. I just thought to myself, like, am I doomed to not ever get things done or get rid of bad habits, build good habits, just watching my mental health basically decline along with my self-esteem? The good news is that that's not the case, okay? If you're like me, we're not doomed. We just have to start small. I bet you've heard this before if you watch productivity or self-help YouTubers. They all say when you're trying to build a habit and you're, struggling, then start small. Make your goals smaller. And it made sense before in the idea that, you want to make things less daunting. You want it to feel easier and you want to work up to things. And that makes a lot of sense. But it's only when I brought this kind of vicious cycle to my therapist that he said start small, and it really made me think of it in a different way. Basically, to build self-respect, if you're already lacking the self-respect and already in the deep pit of procrastination, what you want to do is set those goals, those things that you need to achieve, to be much, much smaller. Honestly, think smaller than even being realistic, because even when we think we're being realistic, we're usually having higher expectations. For example, with myself, I've been trying to be a more consistent person when it comes to the gym and to eating well. Whether that means eating healthy or just making sure to actually get meals in my day. So you might think that realistically, in this example, if you're trying to go to the gym consistently, become more active, and go to the gym eventually every day or almost every day, you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna say, let's go to the gym once a week. That is starting small. When in reality, a lot of us struggle to even do that. In that case, that is not realistic. What you want to do is that you want to make even smaller. So that would be, let me just walk to the gym and stand there for 5 minutes and then go back home. Maybe you can't even leave your house. So now it's, let me take 10 steps outside my apartment. And if even that is bad, because hey, mental health is a weird thing, then you want to make it even smaller. Put on my gym clothes. I don't have to go anywhere, just put the gym clothes on. The idea here is that you want to set the most realistic goal as a stepping stone to doing the big thing, right? And so it doesn't matter if it seems like at the start just putting on your gym clothes and not going down to the gym is not doing anything for you, or not looking like it's directly making you more consistent at going to the gym. I've said gym so many times. But the point is, you want to set that task on your to-do list that you will definitely, or pretty much definitely, achieve, because then you'll be like, okay, I set this thing for myself today and I did do it. Woohoo. And now you've earned +1 in your self-respect, even if it doesn't feel like much or doesn't seem like anything at that point in time. The point is to just keep leveling up in those small goals until eventually it is just to go to the gym once a week or 3 times a week. Build it up slowly. So you want to make sure that you have achieved the smaller levels before you can dominate the higher levels. Think of it like a video game. With a video game, if level 50 is the last goal, that's the final step, that's when you've won the game, all right? And again, going back to the gym, going to the gym 5 times a week is you winning the game of the gym. You wouldn't expect in that video game scenario that I've just installed the game aka I have put the thought in my mind that I want to achieve this goal or get into this habit, but then expect that you're going to dominate level 50 when you haven't even started up the game. You've barely installed the game. It's just sitting on your desktop. So you have to first load up the game and press the start button. Do level 1. Once you've figured that out, you'll go up to level 2, level 3, and you go that way. And yeah, sure, maybe if you randomly played level 5 when you haven't done 3 and 4 yet, you might, like, the one time you play, you're lucky and you win. Great. But that's not meaning anything. That's just luck or like a one-time thing, which is what ends up happening with all of our goals that we want to set. You know, you say you're gonna go 3 times a week, you go 3 times a week for a week, and then the next week it's done because you're not there yet. You're not ready to. You know, we don't come out of the womb expecting to walk or walking. You know, you come out of the womb just crying and people have to hold you everywhere, and then slowly you learn to, you know, roll over, and then suddenly you're crawling or at least doing the military thing on the ground, and then you're standing, and now you're walking, but you're still looking like a penguin. You get the point. Like, all these goals we've usually tried before, and every time we just don't stick to it. And so we need to do something different. It's great to have the motivation and the end goal of doing something very consistently, being ambitious, but we need to not set ourselves up for failure, because the other part is when you set goals and you meet them, self-respect, self-esteem goes up. But hey, if you set up an unrealistic goal and you don't meet it, whether you know it or not, consciously or not, your self-esteem takes a hit. You don't want to set yourself up to think less of yourself. So just start small. Start small. It's okay. It's okay if it looks dumb or seems silly or anything like that. There's a bigger picture, right? And that's what we gotta do.